Alright, Senate Treasury Financial Manual, Volume 1, Federal Agency Table, Part 2, Chapter 4300. Responsibility with the government investment accounting and investments in the government accounting sphere for the securities. Chapter prescribe the responsible of the health of the procedure of the Department of the Treasury, head of the shelf of the government account, the books of the Treasury for the Secretary of the Treasury, for the head of the authorized of the director by law to invest. Section 4310, scope of the applicability, Secretary of the delegate of the Bureau of Official Services for the Secretary responsibility for the investing money for the government investment accounts. The chapter generally describes the responsibility of health of the procedure of the Treasury for the federal agency for the problematic responsibility of the uninvested funds for the relating to the government investment accounts. Federal agencies have problematic responsibility for the government investment account with the referred to letter as later referred to in the chapter as the federal program agencies. Specifically, provision of the chapter governing the established government investment act applies to each of the non-governmental investment account with established after the establishment of the guidance of the provision of the chapter governing the funding of the investment, the redemption, the disbursement accounting, reporting activity relating to the government investment account with apply to such activities occurring after the establishment of the guidance federal program agency submitted to the Treasury for the instruction of the federal Treasury invest any of the monies redeemed with the investment held by the government investment account with the federal program agency to have agreed to all of the provisions of the chapter. Treasury and federal program agency, particular government investment account with a made agreement to supplement and supersede the provision of the chapter of the meaning of the written memorandum of understanding between the Treasury of the federal program agency and with the federal state of the memorandum of understanding. The direct conflicts with the chapter of the statute of the memorandum will prevail. No provisions of any of the agreements between the Treasury and federal program agency for the investment made for the memorandum of understanding between the Treasury and federal program agency may be amended with the modified supplemental waiver discharge terminated orally. Any amended modification supplemental determination must mutually agreed upon by the Treasury of the federal program agency must be in writing and effect with either part of the agreement with the maybe request for amended modification supplement waiver determination. The chapter also applies with the deposit of funds account within which secretary holds money as the bank of the official agent with the custodian, the trustee, of the owner of the money to hold the temporary with the until the ownership that is determined to deposit the fund accounts to which the chapter is applicable to the established federal statute with the right so authorized to require the secretary of the invest all of the portion of the monies in this account. At the request of the federal program agency establishing the sum of the deposit of the fund actions account for the occur of the agency receive the money with the owned by a person either with the United States government treasury would develop the separate agreement of the federal program agency to establish the deposit of funds account with the books of the treasury to hold the monies. Treasury will develop a separate memorandum of understanding between the Treasury federal program agency to communicate with the policy of the procedure of the Treasury regarding the deposit fund action account, describe with respect of the responsibility of the Treasury of the federal program agency relating to the account. The chapter does not apply to the security issue of the federal financing bank, non-enforcing of the Treasury aim of the term of the condition. The chapter is not the waive of the such of the term condition, and it does not prevent the subsequent enforcement by Treasury any failure of part of the federal program agency to comply with the satisfy such of the term of condition. 4315, Section 4315, Authority. Many of the federal states that some of the treaties establish special accounts for the government books of the Treasury, the general to serve the account, the device of the tracking and receive the disbursement federal agency. Federal programs authorize these state treaties generally require the Secretary of the transfer of specifically identified money into the fund, these specially established government accounts. Some of the statute treaties authorize, some of the other require the Secretary to invest all of the portion of the monies in the account. Many of the statutes authorize require investment. They also expressly authorize the Secretary to issue the obligation of the United States Treasury securities directly to the government investment accounts and investment. Chapter 31, Title 31, United States Code generally authorizes the Secretary to issue the obligation of the United States for the government investment account to which such statutes expressly authorize investment, which is specifically authorized for the Secretary to issue the obligation under Title 31, 3121. Also authorized the Secretary to determine the terms of the condition of the offers of the obligation over the statute for the Secretary issue for the obligation of the United States, the Treasury security for the government investment accounts of his investments. Title 31 U.S. Code 3553 and for the 3513 authorized Secretary to develop the coordinated system accounting financial reporting directive to each federal agency, give the Secretary of the Treasury such financial reports information. Secretary require the preparing of required financial reports. Several statutes such as the Title 426 U.S. Standard Code 9602 require the Secretary to prepare the reports of financial operation of the United States government, in particular with the government investment accounts. Section 4320, the terms and the definition, interest rate, the annual percentage rate of the interest, paid for the par amount with the inflation adjusted the principal at the specific issue for the notes of bonds, mature of the day of the Treasury security become the due of the payable to receive the earn interest, the other term of the definition related to the chapter produces for you, Treasury Financial Management Glossary. Section 4325, the responsible the rating establishing government investment account with the federal program agency. 4325, with the investment authority, the Secretary with the legal authority with the generally state with the statute or treaty to invest the government money for the health within the government account with the Treasury will review the relevant statute of the treaty to determine whether the sufficient the legal authority exists for the Secretary of the acting with official services to allow the investment of the investment authority exists. If the official service will also determine the permitted investment of the account with the unusual restrictions and requirements for they must apply with the investment. Completion of the review occurs prior to the establishment of the account with the Fed investment as described in Section 43.25.40 of this chapter. The specific statute for the directing of the Secretary of the invest monies in a deposit fund account is not a requirement. A deposit fund with accounts hold the monies are owned by the person of the other than the United States government under Title 31, Chapter 31 of the United States Code. The Secretary is authorized to borrow from the public and to pay with the interest of the amounts invested within the Treasury securities. Secretary is authorized under the same general borrowing statute to borrow the monies belonging to the person other than the United States government instead of the borrowing the general public and to pay the interest on the amounts of invested in the Treasury securities, whether a federal program agency requests official service to invest monies not belonging to the United States government. The Treasury will develop a memorandum of understanding with the federal program agency memorializing the agreement to set up the deposit fund account to hold the monies. Alright, 43.25.20, obtaining an account with identification number of the U.S. management budget, each for the governmental investment account. It is responsible for the federal program agency for the new governmental investment account with the presidential approval, the congressional enactment of the legislation, Senate ratification of the treaty for the establishment of the account with the contact with the federal program agency, officer for the management of budget representative to obtain the account with identification code, establish a new account with the office of management budget system with the federal program agency shall refer to the OBMB Circular A11 Section 79 with the budget status system, the directions to obtain Office of Management Budget Account Identification Code for the new account with the Treasury account symbol that is assigned with the Treasury that is described in Section 43.25.40 of the chapter will be based on the identification code. Alright, 43.25.30 with establishing each of the government investment account with the central accounting reporting system. Responsible for the federal program agency for the new government investment account with the submit a letter officially issued with the signing with the Treasury accounting symbol with the establishment of the account with the centralized accounting reporting system for the district over the office of management assigned with the account with identification for the number of the new account with the federal program agency will refer to the Treasury Financial Manual Volume 1 Part 2 Chapter 1500 with the direction of the name of the Treasury accounting symbol with the new account with as well the content of the information in the area of the official year service for the letters requesting the assignment of the new Treasury account symbol with the should be assigned with the Treasury accounting symbol published in the federal accounting symbol with the title or as fast book. The Treasury accounting system has been assigned with the new account. Official service will notify the federal program agency for the Treasury assigned with the Treasury assigned symbol of official account title will also the statutory authority for the account. If the federal program agency with the government investment account requires the Treasury to invest any of the monies of the account, federal program agency for the Secretary of the invest for the transaction for the normal receipt of the expenditure of the transaction on the account with the central accounting reporting system, and responsible for the federal program agency for the circumstance of the request of the official service and assigned with the subclass code of the Treasury accounting symbol with the government investment account, and with the capture for the investment data beyond with the fund with the level to report special transactions such as the investment federal program agency shall be used the specialized business event type code and or subclass codes for a system of assignment of the special business and the business event training type business event type code with the subclass code with the Treasury account symbol of the federal program agency contact for the budget report of the branch. See contact for additional information on the budget business and event type codes. Just refer to the Treasury Financial Management business event type code guidance. After official years, serve with the assignment of the subclass code with the new Treasury accounting symbol. Official service will prepare the same of the federal program agency that knows of the communication subclass code for the account. Alright, 43.25.40, establishing each of the government investment account within the federal Fed Invest. The Fed Invest is a web-based application that's designed to provide the federal program agency the ability to input with investment activity managed profile with the government investment accounts. Official year service has the team of the Treasury accounting service with a new government investment account. The reasonability of the federal program agency notified of the request of the official service to establish the new government investment account with the Fed Invest deliver the request of either the Fed Investor of the official Treasury.gov that must include the Treasury accounting symbol with the agency location code, the assignment of the official service. This request should also include the new names, the email address, the telephone number, the fax number, the chief financial officer, any of the necessary points of the contact of the federal program agency. When the official service with the others involved with the Treasury officer can include with the Secretary is authorized to require the invest the money of the account with described in Section 43.25.10 of the chapter officially service will establish the government investment account with the Fed Invest that is distinctly identified with the Treasury accounting symbol with the title and statute treaty with the authorized require the Secretary Secretary of the invest money with the government investment account with is established a special reporting account requirements for the account with the modification and enhancement of the Fed Invest is required federal program agency for the account with the must work with official services to establish the mutually acceptable arrangements of modification and enhancements. Once a government investment account has been established, official service investment account in the system of the federal program agencies must identify the individual need of the accept of the Fed Invest. The new users must fill out the Fed Invest log on ID request general information form. The user should provide the required sign the form and email to the Fed Investor Official Treasury. With an individual problem with the question from the Fed Invest, make the contact with the Federal Investment Bureau branches, borrowing branches. See contact section below. Alright, section 4330, responsible relating to funding government and investment account with the funding government investment account with receipts for the public 433010. Certain statutes that authorize the federal program agency to retain the user fee of the royalty fines, the penalty of the insurance premium, the donation for the other similar receipt for the support of the federal program, the retrieve of the receipt, operational, the receipt of the frequently collected with the federal program agency for the retrieve of the network depository account with maintained with the federal program government is commercial, the depository institution, Federal Reserve banks throughout the country with the initial federal program agency for the deposit of these for the receive of the general fund fund of treasury these funds but not credited directly into the account with the federal program agencies. The commercial depository institute for the Federal Reserve banks report the information on the collection deposit with the general fund of the Treasury. The official services without deposit in the reporting system. Federal program agency have the action for the Treasury system can view the daily information on the deposits made. You the federal programming agency have agency location code. If the responsible federal program agency will classify the internal account system for the deposit of the appropriate government investment account. When official services of the other involved with the Treasury officers then conclude the Secretary has authorized to require the investor receive of the public have then classified with the particular government investment account with the federal program agency for the account may instruct the official services for the view of the Fed invest the money that described in section 4335 of this chapter provide with the federal program agency certified with the official services that the amount is available to invest. 433020 the funding government investment account with the congressional appropriation for the general revenue certain statute for the appropriate general revenues from the general fund of the Treasury for the deposit for the special account with the established for the other book for the Treasury by the statutes special accounts that generally serve as the accounting device for the tracking of the receipt of the disbursement of the federal programs authorized by the statute. The Treasury will review the annual operation action any supplemental appropriation act that is entitled the Congress to determine the funding of the requirements approved by the Congress. Official services will enter for the warrants into the central accounting reporting system, transfer the appropriated money of the general fund of the Treasury for the respective government investment act of the accounts and on the book of the Treasury and compare with the appropriated amounts of the Office of Management Budget information for the federal program agency may obtain the copy of the process warrants by accessing centralized accounting reporting system. And additional information can be found on the official services website that is responsible for the federal program agency to record the information in the internal accounting system. It is responsible for the federal program agency for the notify official services any of the legislation, including as an operation of the federal program, to submit the letter official service requesting operation warrant citing the legal authority of the transaction, Treasury Financial Management, Volume 1, Part 2, Chapter 2000, include the contact information of the branch official service through which the federal program agency shall send the request for the operation of the warrants for help with the determining of the amounts of the time and the operation necessary with the office contact with the Office of Management and Budget. Official service Office of the Chief Counsel for the only disagreement between the official service the Office of Management Budget and Federal Program Agency requires such coordination and determinations. At times, Congress authorized required by law with the movement of money of the one government account to another, because such transfer does not have the impact of the federal budget surplus of the deficit. It does not involve the outlay of the funds of the transferring account. The transfer that referred to non-expenditure transfer is responsible for the federal program agency for the transfer account with the current central accounting reporting system agency transaction model with net and non-expenditure transaction application process for non-expenditure transaction. The federal program agency shall refer to the Treasury Financial Manual Volume 1 Part Chapter 2000 for the direction on how to completely submit with the non-expenditure transaction. Transfer. The federal program agency submitted with the non-expenditure transfer for the central accounting reporting system. The official service review the transfer, the authorization validity before the certified with the transfer, the transmitting with the tab of the central accounting with the financial reporting system. Proposing with the transfer of the accounts, copy of the process of the non-expenditure transfer of the common central accounting reporting system. So will the federal program agency to print with the hard copy is right with the responsible the federal program agency to record the information in the internal accounting system. If the Treasury policy of the appropriate demand of the ability to invest with the use of the Treasury requirement to do so with officials or with the others involved with the Treasury office with the conclude with the Secretary's requirement of the statute with the invest the appropriated monies above the governmental account with the federal program agency for the account shall be the instructed officials certified to invest the monies described in section 4335 of this chapter provided the federal program agency the certified official service of the amount is available to be invested. 433030 funding of the government and investment account with the permanent advance investment must be made with it must not be made with the borrowed funds. Federal program agency has both the borrowed funds and invested funds on the same day with the both maturing the following with the business day with the Treasury will decree the interest rate with the invested funds and the extent of the investment funds do not exceed the amount of the borrowed funds, so the interest rate of the invested funds equal to the interest rate of the borrowed funds. If the interest rate of the invested funds is less than the interest rate of the borrowed funds, the interest rate of the investment funds will not increase. This will be necessary to preclude any arbitrage. Generally, federal program agencies must invest before requesting to borrow funds for their accounts. Section 4335. Responsibly perceive the policy relating to the investment money of the government investment accounts. Description of Government Accounting Series Securities. Government Accounting Series Securities offered for the government investment account with the investment of the special issue of the non-marketable treasury of the security of the that are direct obligations of the United States. They offered exclusively in a book entry form. There are two categories: general Government Accounting Series Securities and the market-based Government Accounting Series and par value Government Accounting Series Securities. 433520 description of market-based government accounting series securities. There are two categories of the market-based government accounting securities. Series securities, mirror image market-based government accounting series securities, and additional market-based government accounting series securities. Mirror image-based market-based government accounting series security. The mirror image market-based based on the government accounting series security of the Treasury security that is identical except with the transferability to particular outstanding with the marketable Treasury security in terms of the interest rate with the interest paid with the payment of the dates for any of the call dates and any of the maturity date with outstanding market Treasury securities include the following types of the security: Treasury bill, the Treasuries issued with a discount redeemed with its par amount with a maturity date that have the maturity over more than 1 year. Treasury notes have the maturity of at least 1 year, but not more than 10 years. The Treasury fixed principal notes, the Treasury fixed principal notes that are issued with the interest rate to applied to the par amount with the interest payment semi-annual to redeem with the par amount with a maturity date with the Treasury inflation. The protected note, the TIP notes or tip notes. Tip notes are Treasury inflation protective. The notes are issued with the interest rate with to apply with the inflation adjusted principal with each of the interest payment of the date, but they have the interest payment the semi-annual to redeem on the maturity date with the inflation adjusted principal, the par amount with whichever is greater the Treasury floating rate with the notes. Treasury floating rate over the as fixed principal will issue with the state spread, but they have the interest of the paid quarterly interest rate with including index rate with the component with which is based on a 13-week Treasury bill auction weekly. Treasury bonds have the maturity of no more than 10 years. Treasury fixed principal, the bond with the Treasury fixed principal are issued with the interest rate that apply with the par amount where they have the payable semi-annual, they are redeemed with the par amount with a maturity date. Treasury inflation protected bond with the tips, the Treasury inflation protected bond with their issue with the interest of the rate with to be applied with the inflation. Just the principal on each the interest payment date, but they have the interest payable semi-annual, they are redeemed with the majority date with the inflation adjusted the principal with the par amount with whichever is greater. Hard additional market-based with the general accounting, general government accounting series government additional market base for the government accounting series security, additional market base for the government accounting series security of the Treasury, the security of the which for the interest base for the person calculated base for the market yield of the certain Treasury of the financial system, instruments issued with the trading with the secondary market with additional market base for the general accounting government accounting series securities include the following type of the Treasury security: the Treasury 1 day certificate of indebtedness, the Treasury Treasury 1 day certificate indebtedness that are issued and stated at the interest rate with the applied with the par amount of the maturity of the business date immediately following with the issue of the date with the redeem of the par amount with the maturity date with the have the interest of the payable of the maturity date. Treasury zero coupon bonds, the Treasury zero coupon bonds or Treasury fixed principal, the bonds for the have the maturities have at least 5 years of the date with the coincide with the maturity dates of the marketable strips or security with the issue of the discount with the redeem with the par amount with the maturity date. Alright, 433530, description of the Par Valley General Accounting Series Security with the Par Valley General Accounting Series Security with the General Accounting Series Security with the issue with the interest rate with applied with the par amount with the purchase with the par with the par deemed the par plus accrued interest time before the maturity date with the interest rate without these Par Value special as determined by the Treasury according to the formula specified with the statute for the authorized of the issuance of such security the interest of the Par Value Security General Accounting Series Security payable on June 30th to December 31st of the upon redemption of the prior on the mature of the date with the reference section 4335 of 90 with the chapter of the Treasury policy regarding investment of the money of the market-based general government accounting series securities variable with the par value of the general accounting series securities based on the statutory language. 433540 responsible relating to the development investment strategy for the government investment account and responsible for the federal program agency for the government investment account with the development strategy for the investing money for the account with the not record for the current need for the federal program finance through the account with the federal program agency for the government investment account with generally with the best position for the estimate of the disbursement means need for the federal program finance through the account with the federal program agency shall be at least annually estimated for the time and the amounts for the disbursement of the federal program over the following year. The development strategy of the purchase for the government accounting series security of the principal amount with the head of the maturity date for the interest payments for the property of the coincide with these disbursement assessments hold investment with the maturity dates. 433550 the responsible rating determination amounts available the investment amount to be invested in the federal program agency for the government investment account with the made only with the best money for the account with available for the investment money available to investment credit with the general fund of the treasury the available for you with the treasury of the federal program agency with the generally made consider the funds available on the day of the deposit fee with the fed while the automated clearinghouse due with the treasury lockbox network the federal program agency shall refer to the treasury financial manual volume 1 part 5 chapter 4600 with the former information on the treasury lockbox network for the federal program agency for the deposit of the funds of the treasury account with the commercial financial institution designated by treasury as the depository institution federal reserve bank of the federal program agency the the standard form 215 deposit ticket funds generally are available 2 days after the pay of the deposit federal program agency should refer to the treasury financial manual volume 1 part 5 chapter 6500 more information availability of the deposit funds is responsible for the federal program agency for the government investing account with a determined amount money in account with available investment with the many of the statutes establishing government investment accounts specifically with the responsible for the federal program agency for the account determine the amount of the money for the account, but not record for the need for the current need for the federal program being financed for the account with the instruct for the investment of the amount with the when the statute establishes a particular government investment account that does not specify the determined amount with the excess of the program, neither the responsible of the federal program agency for the amount with the instruct for the investment of the amount, even when the statute establishes the particular government investment account that provides the secretary of the treasury who determines the amount with the be invested for the nevertheless the responsible federal program agency to determine the amount with the is in excess of the program need to appropriate the investment amount is instructed. Alright, 433560 responsibility limitation relating to the selection of the investment security, the responsible federal program agency for the government investment account, so of the government accounting series security for the end of which of monies account with the best of the generally federal program agencies which should select the government accounting series of the securities and principal amount have the maturity date of the interest payment that they are consistent with the investment strategy for the federal program agency developed for the account for the purpose of the investing of the market base of the government accounting series of the security for the federal program agency may select with the appropriate market base for the government accounting series of the security with the Fed invest for the zero coupon bonds are all market based for the government accounting series security that are created with the Fed invest that are available to the investment with the treasury the auction of the market treasury securities. Zero coupon bonds are established upon the federal program agency require for the base on the marketing pricing with the determination availability with the treasurer offer the debt with the management of the federal program agency that can also obtain the obtaining price for the market based security for the Fed invest the federal program agency may instruct the official of the invest for the market based for the government accounting security series security for any time up to 3 p.m. of the Eastern Time. The deadline with the submitting instructed investment of the government accounting security series security described in section 433570 of this chapter. Following rules placed for the individual memorandum of understanding that may currently exist between the Treasury of the Federal Program Agency regarding the purchase of the government accounting series security with the zero coupon bonds prior to the initial investment of the government accounting security series security zero coupon bond funding program agency must contact official services to modify the security option to include the government accounting series security zero coupon bonds. Federal Program Agency that may select the outstanding marketable treasury for the strips interest for the principal account component with the half of the 5 or more years remaining the maturity date of the Federal Program Agency may instruct official service to invest the government accounting series security for the zero coupon bond at any time until 11 a.m. on the Eastern Time deadline with the submitting instructed investment of the government accounting security series security zero coupon bonds described in section 4370 of this chapter. Federal program agencies may instruct official service to invest for the government accounting series security zero coupon bond. Official service to the issue for the government accounting series security zero coupon bond identical to the example the transfer to select with the marketable to transfer the strip the interest for the principal component with the term of the maturity date. Initial purchase of the government accounting series security zero. The coupon must be with the face amount with at least $50 million and increments of $1 million face amount with above $50 million. Fiscal services will offer the additional amount for the government accounting series security zero coupon bonds provided with the meantime remaining of the maturity date with a minimum incremental face amount with the requirements met with the time of the additional amount was purchased. Federal program agencies may specify either strip the principal of the interest of the component, but the federal program agency does not identify the preference of the role to strip the principal of the interest component with the half of the maturity date requested. Then Treasury will purchase the program account with the strip the component with a half of the lower yield. The Treasury reserve the right to reject requests to invest for the government accounting government accounting series security zero coupon bond with the Treasury opinion that there's influence sufficient number of reliable market quotations. For requests of security, the federal program agency may not instruct official services to invest with more than the 5 government accounting series security zero coupon bonds on the basis of one business day. One received by official service, the federal program agency cannot cancel an investment instruction with the government accounted series security zero coupon bond. Alright, federal program agencies may instruct the official year for the par value of the government accounting series security only with the statute governing the government investment account that requires the established with a strong presumption of the favor of the investment of the par value of the government accounting series securities. Federal program agencies investment authority allow the certain investment of the subject of the public interest to determination. Secretary of the Treasury. The type of the determination will be in sole discretion of the Secretary of the Public Interest to pour out over the beneficial blending interest. Secretary will also consider among the other variable interest for the taxpayer generally with the effects of the U.S. economy. 43.35.70 responsible for the procedure of the relating to the investment instruction. Official service will invest money with the government investment accounts for the issue with the government accounting government account series securities account pursuant with the investment instruct for the official year of the federal program agency for the account within accordance with the chapter of the Treasury policy required with the method of the federal program agency to submit the investment and instruct for the year of the Fed invest hours of the operation business day of the Monday through Friday 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. of the Eastern time of the federal program agency for the main advantage of the federal investment of the account portfolio with the accounting hold recent account transaction statement of the account with the current historical pricing information, a list available to secure for the purchasing of the redemption. If the responsible federal program agency discuss for the Fed invest for the amount of the money to be invested the day with the which for the money to be invested in the particular general accounting series security in which the money should be invested. Also for the responsible federal program agency for the person submitting the investment instruction is an official of the federal program agency for the authorized to submit the investment instruction on the official service on the behalf of the federal program agency to certify the availability of the money for the government investment of the account with the investment. Submission received with official service investment instruction the purchase of all the government accounting series securities through other zero coupon bond with a must secure with no later than 3 p.m. of the Eastern time of the day with the intent of the investment of the Fed investment all allows the input of the Fed instruction of the further date of the purchase with all the mirror image market-based government accounting series securities. Treasury 1 day with the certificate indebtedness over the 10 day with advance for the effective date of the transaction submission received with official service with the investment instruction for the purchase of the government accounting series security zero coupon bonds must occur with 11 a.m. with the submission of the investment of the instruction of the future day with the purchase of the government accounting series security zero coupon bonds with the pair value of the government accounting series securities are not permissible. Whenever the government securities market closed with non-processing investment of the mirror image of market base for the government accounting series securities or government accounting series securities zero coupon bonds will occur with the government accounting series security will 1 day certificates for the indebtedness purchase on the last of the business day before the day of the which the government security market is closed with the maturity of the one on the first of the bill following business day of the which the government security market is open. The federal program agency that receive the new deposit within the government security market is closed. Federal programming agency may invest the amounts of the 1 day certified with the indebtedness so that the maturity of the following business day accrues interest at the rate of the effect of the last preceding business day. However, the government securities market is open to the federal holiday. Official service will open to the receive of the investment instruction from the federal program agency if they open to desire the investment of the fund of the federal program agency desiring to invest the funds of the delay of the files, seeing the operating perceive the deadlines and left not otherwise by the official service of the part of the federal government closed to do the inclement with the weather the other region of the other temporary business foreclosure. Official service will generally be open to the conduct with the business of the federal program agency. However, the official service is unable to process for the timely receive the instruction on the particular day with the temporary business closure for the with the Office of Financial Services will process this transaction so the effective of the date during the disclosure and instruct the federal program agency shall establish the entity proceed with conducting investment transaction fiscal services in the event a federal program agency office temporarily closes due to the local conditions. The federal program agency should share the contingency plan with official services, and federal program agency shall keep the blank copies of the investment redemption request paper for the file in case of the contingency, such as the internal net being unavailable. These can be found on the treasurydirect.gov website. Alright, 40, 35, 35, 80. The pricing investment in the Government Accounting Series Security. The Office ODBM determined the daily purchase price of all the outstanding eligible market Treasury security in accordance with the principle that described in Appendix 1 of the eligible market Treasury security exclude the Treasury bills for that have less than one of the remaining of the maturity date of the Treasury floating rate note that they have less than 3 months of the remaining until the maturity date. Inflation protects the fixed principal of the Treasury. The note the bonds that have not less than 6 months of the remaining of the maturity date. The ODM also provides electronic file of the purchase of the price of the official service at approximately 1 p.m. over the Eastern Service official with the post for the current date with the price of the Fed investment pricing available to general around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Federal Program Agency requires to invest with the General Accounting Series Security 0 coupon bonds 11 a.m. and the official service requires the purchase price of the information for the security of the ODM. The ODM will determine if the purchase price of the Government Accounting Series Security 0 coupon bonds according with the principle described in Appendix 1 will send requested pricing information for official services by approximately 1 p.m. In all cases, the official service will purchase the price of the receipt of the ODM and investment of the instruction received with the official services by the respective deadline times. Or the purchase price of the investment of the par valve to General Accounting Series Security with the face amount with the security of the par with the statute of the authorizing issue of the par valve with the Government Accounting Series Security of the possessor of the applicable interest rate with the determined based on the market yield of the outstanding marketable Treasury security. The ODM will determine the interest rate with according to the formula prescribed with the statute authorizing the issue of the par value with the Government Accounting Series Security with the specified of the applicable the interest rate with it be determined based on the interest rate borne by outstanding market Treasury security. The official services will determine the interest rate with according to the formula prescribed in the statute. 43, 35, 90. Investment confirmation of the federal program agency that must obtain with the confirmation complete with the investment transaction. The Fed investment confirmation will give generally post following the availability of the price of the day of the transaction. The confirmation of the investment of the Government Accounting Series security will include the information of the discount with the premium associated with the purchase price for the security, and federal program agency that does not obtain the confirmation of the via the internet may use the procedure as Appendix 2. Alright, 43, 35, 95. Policy governing and investing the funds of the government investment account with the federal program agency to submit the investment and instruct to provide the section 43, 35, 70 of the chapter the federal program agency to agree with the following policy that generally applicable to the investment of the Treasury of the money of the government investment accounts. Federal program agencies may only invest for the money of the government investment account through the official service with the statute of the treaty with the governing of the account with the authorized with the res require the secretary of the Treasury to invest money within the account. Federal program agency may use the memorandum when there was understanding of the investment of the deposit of the funds. Federal program agency may not invest the government investment account money derived from the congressional appropriation and process of the appropriated monies unless the statute governing the accounts require the secretary of the Treasury to invest the appropriated monies. Federal program agency may only invest monies which have been credited with the Treasury General Fund and or available to the Treasury. They have with the federal program agency that may be invest deposit funds in the funds that are not available to the Treasury. Federal program agency only with the Government Accounting Series securities for investment money for the government investment accounts through the official services unless the statute governing the investment of the money of the governing investment account will require establishing a strong presumption in the favor of the investment of the par value the Government Accounting Series security fund or federal public program and account agency shall invest the money in the account with the market base of the Government Accounting Series securities. Federal program agency with the government investment account shall be the best of its ability to develop the investment of the Treasury to select the investment with the maturity date that coincides with the approximation of the federal program agency. The disbursement of the state with the investment that may be brought with the held with the maturity date of the federal program agency for the government investment account was helped not give the investment practices include but without limited to the security day trading. Large reconstruction investment portfolios to take advantage of the short-term interest rate with the fluctuation on the result of the gains of and losses. Federal program agency for the government investment account that has lawful authority to borrow either the Treasury or the federal financing bank. Generally, the federal program agency cannot borrow and hold investments in the same account. 4340 responsibility procedures relating to the redemption of the investment held in the government investment account. With 434010 with a maturity date with the government accounting series security. Official services will automatically redeem the government accounting series securities held with the government investment account with the transfer of their maturity date with the federal program agent for the government investment account with the wishes all of the portion of the proceed with the maturing of the government accounting series security to be reinvested. The responsible the federal program agent for the reinvestment the proceed with the reinvest with the federal program agent if it does not submit with the reinvestment instruction. The official services about the deadline with the submitting the investment instruction. Official services will create for the government investment account with the proceed with the maturing of the government accounting series security with the earned interest of the maturity date with the proceed with the market base for the government accounting series security with the maturing on the non-business date with the credit of the government investment account with the following with the business day with additional proceeds from the par value of the government accounting series security with the maturing on the non-business day with the credit with the government investment account of the maturity date. 434020 the responsible relating to the early redemption amounts. If responsible for the federal program agent for the government investment account will evaluate the continuously with the disbursement need of the federal program finance with the government investment account with the federal program agency should practice with the investment strategy to satisfactorily meet the program disbursement needs through automatic redemption of the government accounting series security for the maturity date for the federal program agency may instruct official services to redeem one or more of the government accounting series security held in the government investment account before the maturity date if the program have the immediate cash needs for the cash need arising within 60 calendar days of the redemption. Federal program agency may not instruct official services to redeem one or more of the government accounting series security held in the government investment account before the maturity of the date, but the program does not have the immediate cash needs. If the responsible federal program agency for the determined amount of the government accounting series security held within the government investment account with the schedule of the redemption before the maturity date of the federal program agency may instruct official service to redeem the treasury specials before the maturity date for the purpose of invest higher rate instruments. Alright, 434030 with a responsible for the limitation relating to the early redemption security selection. The government investment account with investment for the market base for the government accounting series security for the federal program needs for the conclude with the one or more of the government accounting series security with the held with the account with the need to be redeemed before the maturity date. Meet the disbursement for the need of the federal program. The responsible for the federal program agency to self the special official surface of the particular market base for the government accounting series security to redeem the dollar amount of the government accounting series security that are redeem the subject to the policy of the restriction of this chapter the federal program and agency. Just for the redemption of the market base for the government accounting series securities have the same maturity date, but not all the securities that be the redeemed official services will generally redeem the market base of the general accounting series securities have the same maturity date and then orders for the issue of the date with the earliest issue date first. However, the official service will redeem other than the earliest issue of the date of the security if instructed by investing federal program agency. Your federal program agencies may not instruct official services to redeem before the maturity date of the market government accounting series security with the bill, with the bond, with the include with the zero coupon bond, held with the government investment account before the close of the third business day after that day with the one which the government accounting series security was issued for the account with as an investment. Alright, federal program agency may instruct the official service to redeem before the maturity date of the portion of the government accounting series security with the zero of the coupon bond held with the agent of the government investment account with a portion of the must meet at least $5 million face amount with the if the amount of the above $5 million face amount incremental with the $1 million redemption quota would be reviewed with the remaining face of the amount with the specified of the government accounting series security with the zero coupon bond less than the $50 million face amount. Federal program agencies will redeem the entire zero coupon bond. Federal program agencies must submit their request for the redemption of the zero coupon bonds before 11 a.m. with the Treasury Reserve of the right to reject for the request for the redeem of the government accounting series security with zero coupon bond if the opening with the ODM with the insufficient number of the reliable market quotation of the security of the federal program agency that may not be instructed official services with the redeem before the maturity date of the more of the government accounting series security with the zero coupon bonds of the one business day when received the official services with the redemption instruct for the government accounting series security with the zero coupon bond is binding for the government investment with account with invested with the par value of the government accounting series security if the federal program agency the account will conclude that the one or more securities held in the account needs to be redeemed before it is the maturity date with the disbursement need of the federal program. The federal program agency must specify in its redemption instruction submitted official services only the dollars amount that is needed. Upon receipt of the properly complete with the submitted instruction to redeem before the maturity date specify the dollar amount of the par government accounting series security held in the government investment account with official services will borrow the value of the government accounting series security up to specify the dollar amount with the following order. Par value of the government accounting series security with the earliest maturity date. For among the security, such maturity date with the par value of the government series security with the lowest interest rate with the first of the security. Some such security, same with the maturity date with the interest rate with the par value of the government series security with the earliest issue with the date first. 434040 responsibly receive the relating redemption instruction. The official should the redeem of the government accounting series security with the help of the government investment account before the maturity date for the redemption instruction them receive the official service from the federal program agency for the account with the required method of the federal program agency to submit the redemption instruction is through the Fed Invest. It is responsible for the federal program agency to specify the government accounting series security with the redeemed with the amount with the need of the face amount of the government accounting series securities that are redeemed on the day of the government accounting series security that are to be redeemed. They're also responsible the federal program agency for the ensure that the person submitting the redemption of the instruction official of the federal program agency authorized to submit official service redemption instruction on behalf of the federal program agency. Submission of receipt of the official service redemption instruction on the mirror image market base for the par valve of the government accounting series security of the bond 1 day with the certificate indebtedness. Hey, Mitch, what's up? Indebtedness must occur no later than 3 p.m. on the day of the redemption to be made. For this, also input with the instruction on the future date redemption of the mirror image based government accounting series security on 10 days with advance for the effective date of the transaction submission of the instruction of the redemption government accounting series security 0 coupon bond. Receipt of the official service must occur no later than 11 a.m. Eastern Time. The official service does not permit the submission of the instruction of the future date redemption government accounting series security 0 coupon bonds pair value of the government accounting series securities. Well, fuck, I'm halfway done reading it. 43, 40, 50 price redemptions before the maturity of the day of the government accounting series security for the OADM that determine the daily redemption price of all of the outstanding of the marketable treasury of the security in accordance with the principle described in Appendix 1 that provides all of the electronic file of those redemption price of the fiscal year servicing promptly 1 a.m. 1 p.m. The official service will be posted currently date with the price of the Fed Invest assuming the pricing is available generally around with the 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Federal program agency have the request to redeem the government accounting series security 0 for the coupon bonds of the 11 a.m. with the official service the request of the redemption price information for the government accounting series security of the ODM. The ODM will determine the redemption price of the government accounting series security 0 coupon bonds in accordance with the principle described in Appendix 1 of the bill with the time of the request of the pricing information official service approximately 1 p.m. In all cases, the official service will leave the redemption price of the ODM with the redemption instruction to receive the official service by the respective deadline times. Redemption price of the par valve of the government accounting series security and face amount of the security par. Alright, 43, 40, 60 redemption confirmations. Federal program agency for the matters obtained with the confirmation complete with the redemption transaction log on the red invest. The confirmation will generally post the following availability with the pricing on the day of the transaction. The confirmation will specify the credit amount with the receipt of the redemption of the Government Investment Act. And count together with the amount of this interest that has been credited in an account with the confirmation of the redemption of the market government accounting series security will also include the information on the discount premium associated with the redemption price for the security. 4345 the responsible procedure relating to the disbursement of the money of the government investment accounts. 4345 of the policy governing disbursement of the money with the government investment account with the federal program agency to distribute the money with the government investment account. The money is in the account with the investment of the government accounting series security with the federal program agency for the must redeem with the security with the amount with the position of the produce with the cash balance on the account with less equal amount playing with the disbursement for the making of the disbursement. 43, 45, 20 with the guide in the disbursement requirement of the federal program agency refer to the Treasury Financing Manual Volume 1, Part 4 with the disbursement of the guidance requirements of the apply with the making of payments of the check with the electronic funds transfer to the government account, including the government investment account with the Treasury Financial Manual Volume 1, Part 4. Also includes the contact information of the branch of the official service which address the questions on the disbursement. Alright, 4350, accounting responsibility of the government investment account with accounting requirement of the provision, Chapter 35 of the Title 31 United States Code require with exempted agents, which include federal program the agent for the government investment account with among the other things with the help us maintain the same sum of the account and the internal control of the implemented maintain the financial management system to comply with the substantially with the applicable federal accounting standard of the United States government, standard ledger, general ledger of the transaction level, preparing a financial statement covering all of the accounts associated activities, having a financial statement of the federal program agency of the government, a corporation, and 31 U.S. Standard Code 9105 require the federal program agency to do, among the other things, prepare the financial statement covering all of the accounts associated with the activities that have the financial statements audited. 435020, the official service published reporting. The reports available to the official service website show the transaction and distribution data of each of the government investment account with the currently previously invested the government accounting series security with the responsibility of the federal program agency of the government investment account. Use the reports of the provide the official service website of the Fed invested for the monthly with the classification, transaction, accountability, submission of the official service described in section 4350 of this chapter, reconciliation process that's described in section 4350 of the chapter 4350 of the federal program agency classification, transaction, accountability, submission. Require that each of the executive agency with the furnished for the secretary with the treasurer the report with the information about the financial condition of the operation required of the secretary official service the request of all of the federal agencies, all of the federal executive, legislative, judicial branch agencies, the federal government corporations, to report all the receipts of the disbursement activity agencies, the classification, transaction, accountability components of the central accounting reporting system. Incorporate the Intragovernmental Transaction Guide with the Treasurer Financial Management, Volume 1, Part 2, 4700, Appendix 6, officials of the report, federal investment activity of the central accounting reporting system. On behalf of the federal program agencies, invest for the government accounting series security of the federal investment activities, and include the investment of the unauthorized, unrealized discount premium of the redemption interest for all government accounting series security of the federal program agencies invest for the government accounting series security with the show continue the report with investment funds with the receipt of the disbursement with the under the existing procedure for the receipt of the government GWA the accounting system expenditure activity report within the central accounting reporting system reflects investment accounting of the activity each of the month, including the information report of the official service. If the agencies have a question regarding the reports, they may contact the federal investment borrowing branches. See contacts. Wow. The IGT Guide. 435040 Federal Program Agency Reconciliation Responsibility to ensure the integrity of the account for the financial report of the information fiscal service obtains the Treasury requires the Federal Program Agency for the government investment account for the reconcile the data on the fund balance of the maintained with the Treasury of the regular on the recurring basis of the official service of both the appropriation and more of the expenditure of transfer of the also information obtained with the Federal Program Agency for the monthly of the classification, transaction, accountability, submission submission of the central accounting reporting system official server that provide the federal programs with the update with the monthly with the bound fund balance federal program agency maintained with the Treasury, the GWA account with the forms of the central accounting responsibility of the federal program agency for the government investment account with the post all of the account with the activity the transaction report officially with the corresponding account with the agency internal accounting system, and also with the responsible for the federal program agency to reconcile the internal accounts with the corresponding account balance with the central accounting reporting system. Intergovernmental Elimination Federal Program Agency for the refer to the Treasury Financial Management Volume 1 Part 2 Chapter 5100 with the guidance on how to reconcile the internal accounting balance of the accounting balance of the Center Accounting Reporting System Treasury Financial Manual Volume 1 Part 2 Chapter 51 also included the contact information branch of the official service to address the question of the accounting reconciliation. I'll reconcile the intergovernmental transaction responsible for the federal program agency, the office management, the budget of the Treasury, require the agency, the investment officials service to reconcile the elements of their investment, including the principal original discount with the premium and authorization discount premium interest review with the official service to submit the balance of the government of the investment account with the government-wide Treasury account similar to adjusted of the trial balance system. Quarterly is responsible for the federal program agency for the government investment account with the U of the government trial government-wide Treasury accounting symbol system to reconcile the confirm account balance of the agency. The question regarding reconcile the intragovernmental transaction that may be the contact of the federal investment borrowing branches. See contacts. Federal program agency may add additional guidance to the report of the reconciliation information from the government investment account for the following publications. Over the management bulletin A 136 of financial reporting requirements of transfer of training financial management volume 1 part 2 4700. Appendix 6, the Intergovernmental Transaction Guide. Alright, Section 4355 of the reporting responsibility of the Treasury relating to the government investment account of the Treasury for the General Report to Section 3513 of the Title 31 United States Code require the Secretary of the Treasury for the preparation of the reports that inform the President, Congress, for the public and financial operations of the United States, for the government fulfillment of the mandate, official service of the public for the daily Treasury statements, the monthly Treasury statements, and the receipts outlay for the United States of the government combined with the statements of the receipts outlay balance for the United States of the government, the quarterly Treasury bulletin, the annual financial report for the United States government, in addition financial service published the daily monthly statement of the public debt with the annual audit schedule of the federal debt. 435520 with the responsibility specific reporting requiring the Treasury prepare with the disrupt the service of the reports and statements of financial management of the operation of the United States, the government to support the effort. Treasury requires federal program agencies to submit financial information of the government-wide transfer Treasury accounting symbols reporting requirements, instruction found with the Treasury Finance Manual, Volume 1, Part 2, 4, up to 4700. Just the various statutes require the Secretary to report annually with the Congress financial condition operating during the preceding fiscal year of the government investment account with the unexpected condition of the operation of these of the accounts during the specified number of the year for the future fulfilling the mandate for the publishing information of the financial condition operation of the particular government investment account during the preceding fiscal year of the official service to comply with the information central accounting financial reporting system federal program agency fiscal year with the publishing of the information annually one of the issue of the quarterly Treasury bulletin if the responsible federal program agency for the government investment account was produced and submit official services when required the inclusion of the annual reports published in the Treasury bulletin information on expected conditions of operations accounts of the during specified numbers of the years and future. Section 4360 of the Marketable Security of the Reporting Requirement of the Marketable Security Statutory Authority Agents for the proper investment authority. They have the choice of investing either the general accounting series security of the market security and the marketable security of both those bills, notes and bonds, floating rate notes, and treasury inflation protection securities available to purchase for the resale of the secondary market. Federal agency must have the specific investment authority granted by acting with the Congress before purchase of the marketable securities. After Congress grants the authority agents for the may purchase for the security of the second market through the independent brokerage firm, the agents of the existing statutory authority and investment markets will securities which they seek to obtain such authority must notify the official services. 436010 reporting requirements of investment marketable securities. Again, an agency must report the investment of the redemption market security of the official service monthly on with a statement of the transaction against agency for the report required principal transaction par value of the statement of the transaction if the agency purchase marketable securities through an independent brokerage firm that must notify the official service of the financial reporting of the statement of the team. Within 3 business days of the same, such of the person receive the contact with the notification should report with the all investment of the community with the uniform security identified with the procedures and level using committee unified security identification procedure of the number and par value of the agency and of the Treasury inflation protected security that must report with the financial services any inflation compensation adjustment on these securities. Monday, 8 a.m. the ETA Eastern Time of the 1 business day of the month. The agency prescribed of the FRST was complete with the listing of the marketable security of the committee uniform security identification procedures par value using template provided in the financial reporting statement team monthly 10 a.m. that 1 business day of the monthly agency of the financial reporting statement team with balance of all the applicable United States standard general ledger accounts. Again, use the template provided with the financial reporting statement team and in context federal investment redemption general accounting series security associated accruals permanent Treasury Bureau official service of federal investment borrowing branches federal government concerning an established company investment accounting responsibility permanent Treasury Bureau of the financials for the budget report and appropriation analysis section the direction question concerning investment marketable securities permanent Treasury Bureau of officials for the financial accounting service of the financial reporting statement team appendixes and summary updates. Chapter 4300, Volume 1, Part 2, Chapter 4300, and I'm going to cut the tape there. That was a very long one.